All right, squad, we definitely got a good one right here. So you guys know that rapper Nelly and singer Ashanti have gotten married and they had a baby recently. They also have a reality show called Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. Apparently it's on the Peacock channel. I was not aware of that. And a clip of their reality show has went viral. I'm gonna play the clip and we're gonna break it down after this.
That's a lot.
Well, listen, it's all you. I ain't gonna even lie. You know, I ain't got nothing for him.
Absolutely not, I know.
Until he can say, I'm hungry, until he can say, I need to use the bathroom, it's gonna be a lot easier than that. But as soon as he started walking, I told him, I said, enjoy it. Because as soon as he gets to walking and talking, he with the crew.
I'm trying to understand, how is it that you just sleep through when he starts crying?
Do y'all really be up at night? I heard about it.
You know what? It's absolutely ridiculous that you'll still be dead asleep and he'll be mad loud.
But I don't even hear y'all, man.
That's ridiculous.
You know, it's a gift, I guess.
Why is that a gift?
I'm blessed with that.
No. That means get up. It's your turn to change him.
I'm gonna take you back to this conversation we had before you kicked me under the table. I said, baby, I give you the world. I just ain't changing no diapers.
Oh my God.
So with Nelly saying that he's not changing any diapers, he's really going to be kind of hands off on that aspect of it until his baby's old enough to walk, which is usually around a year old for my non-parents. Women online are losing their mind. They're talking about how Ashanti should divorce Nelly, how Ashanti settled for Nelly. We'll get to that here in a second. And just running this man through the mud because that's how he stated that he would interact with his arm baby in their marriage. And I just looked it up. Their baby is about 1 year old right now, and they only have the one child. I think it was a rumor going around that they had a second baby, but they only have the one child. So let's see what these ladies are bitching about.
Pack that baby up and leave before he puts another one inside of you. Ashanti is living proof on how you should never spin the block. If he cheated on you then, what makes you think he changed now? You should have more sense at 40 years old. Unfortunately, Nelly and Ashanti are married. They just had a baby, and now they began to promote this humiliation ritual disguised as a reality TV show. Embarrassingly enough, Nelly says that he will not be changing any diapers and even sleeps through the night while the baby cries. He goes on to say that he will not be helping out until the baby can walk and talk. Now, you would think the more experienced parent would be more willing to help out the mother of his child since she's doing this for the very first time, but I guess not. This all started when he sped walk across that stage to give her a hug. I blame Fat Joe for ruining Ashanti's life. Before this catastrophe, she was doing small, intimate concerts, going on vacation, and even had a little boo thing on the side. And now look at her, a married single mother that has to deal with her husband constantly embarrassing her and allegedly cheating on her. How could she not see the signs? It was just in 2022 where he quote-unquote accidentally uploaded an Instagram story of a woman performing fellatio on him. Those rose-colored glasses will ruin you women every single time. Have more discernment and take them off.
And it's wild because you know that woman is single and trying to encourage Ashanti to leave her marriage because of some things that she disagrees with Nelly. I have no idea about the cheating allegations that she's alleging. They could be true, they could not be true. I don't follow celebrities like that. But one thing that she said that is so insulting that I've seen multiple women repeat online is calling a married woman with a husband, a married single mom. And think about the reason why, because this man says that he doesn't want to change his baby diapers, or he feels that that's not his role within their marriage. And I'm going to give my opinion on that shortly. Let's play another clip.
Well, listen, it's all you. I ain't gonna even lie. You know, I ain't got nothing for him. Until he can say, I'm hungry, until he can say, I need to use the bathroom, it's gonna be a lot easier than that. But as soon as he started walking, I told him, I said, enjoy it. Because as soon as he gets to walking and talking, he with the crew.
I said it before, but I'll say it again. Some men don't want to be fathers. They want you to be a mother. The baby is her responsibility. Now she's stuck and can't move around as freely as he can.
How is she stuck? We're talking about changing a diaper. This is the argument that these women are stuck on. We're talking about changing diapers, which if you guys are watching this and don't have children, that waking up in the middle of the night for babies needing to be fed and needing to get their diaper changed, that stops at around 8-9 months or something like that. I'll actually look it up. This article comes from the clevelandclinic.org. Most babies start sleeping through the night by 6 months. My whole point is that this thing that they're so mad about him is a temporary thing.
I talked about recently in a video, it's not enough that a man wants to be a father. You need to ask him what kind of father that he plans to be. Does he plan to be an active, hands-on father, or does he plan to leave you on your own?
I actually agree with that sentiment. You should be asking all these questions before you get into a serious relationship, let alone marriage, bringing babies into this world. I do agree with that. But regardless, she's not being left alone. Ashanti and Nelly are both multimillionaires. You don't think that they have nannies? You don't think that they have someone on staff? And not just in the middle of the night, probably nannies giving her breaks all the time.
Because I would much rather say a man lied to me than to say I never asked. I think the issue that they're having is proof that there weren't enough conversations being had prior to them getting married and having a child. Because why are you just now finding out he's the kind of dad that doesn't plan to stay up with you at night or do any bottle feedings or changing any diapers, that you were going to be alone for the first couple years of having that child? How are you just now finding out that he wants to live in St. Louis and not in New York, where you have family and friends who can help you with the baby? How are you just now finding out all of these huge things that are vital to your life together? What were you doing during the dating process if you don't know any of this?
I actually agree with her on that point as well. I guess there's also some conflict on this show. I'm not watching that nonsense. Nelly's from St. Louis. She's from New York. She wants to move to New York. Nelly's like, I'm not moving to New York. St. Louis is my home, and this is where it's going to be. But again, no one knows these people personally. No one knows if they've had these conversations or not. And a lot of the things that women are upset about, they're basing this off of things said in a reality show. But it's a reality show. We all know that things are scripted, things are inserted to try to create conflict and entertaining situations for television. But these women are acting like they're part of the relationship and they know all the insides and outs.
I'm going to say this. Ashanti settled for Nelly. She settled for Nelly because there is absolutely no way that she, Nelly, her mama, or whoever else is going to sit there and convince me that sis is actually happy being with him, because you're not in a real marriage, or it seems like a real cohesive partnership where both of y'all are doing work in the relationship. In fact, he barely participates in the relationship. He already ran down the rules and explained to her that when she have that baby, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I'm not changing Pampers or anything. This is supposed to be your wife. This is her first child. You ain't new to this. She is. And you can't support your wife during postpartum. Make sure she's well rested and getting her rest, because the baby's already going to be attached to her. She's breastfeeding. And you can't get up to check on your child or to change diapers? You could tell that she was bothered in her response when she was like, I just think that's like kind of fucking, you could tell she probably wanted to cuss him out. I think that's kind of whack that you could just sit there and sleep through a crying child and not want to get up and get your own son. That's what she should have said. Nelly is a real piece of work. And it's like the audacity, because this girl settled for you. And I feel like in a way it was because of what people were saying that made her say, well, I'm spinning the block. He's familiar. He's a familiar place. So I'm going to just land here, right? Because y'all was talking about her being in her 40s, living her best life and being child free. Like that was failures for her as a woman. Now it makes all the sense when her sister had put out that like cryptic message about how, I guess, you know, the pressures of societal norms and like trying to fit into society with a husband and a wife and a that cryptic message her sister put out makes sense now, because now you get to see that this relationship is a mess, and I don't think they're going to make it. This is not going to be an everlasting marriage, because Nelly is about to run that girl into the ground. When I tell y'all, give it a year or two, and Ashanti is going to be looking haggard, because sis already looked tired. And
You don't know these goddamn people. Look at this. This is how absurd this shit is. You don't know that man, and you don't know that woman. Let's break down a couple things she just said. One, talking about Ashanti settled for Nelly. What is wrong with you women? Nelly has a net worth $70 million. Ashanti, I've looked it up. It varies. You can find reports saying that she's worth $5 million up to $20 million, which is dope. That's $5 to $20 million more than my dusty ass has. It's not nearly as much as Nelly has. These women swear it down that every single black woman is settling for their husband, no matter all the accomplishments that their husband have. I said this in a video, and I promise y'all, somebody bookmark this. There's going to be a time in which it hasn't been said already. I'm going to say that Beyonce settled for Jay-Z. Wait for it. If it hasn't happened already, it's coming. Even though Jay-Z net worth is like triple Beyonce's. Another point, said there right there at the end that Nelly is going to drain her and all this kind of stuff. Y'all, the issue is Nelly said that he wasn't getting up in the middle of the night to change diapers and feed the baby. This is a temporary thing that happened. They're acting as if this statement is going to prove that he's going to be a bad father when he said it in the original clip that was on the television show. Oh, once he old enough to walk and talk, he part of the squad. They're basing all of this off something that's temporary, because guess what happens with children? As long as they don't unalive themselves, they grow and they get bigger and they become less dependent on you. And the last thing, that Ashanti was 40 plus years old, childless, living her best life, and because of societal norms, she felt that she had to have a baby. Society can't force you to do anything that you don't want to do. Here's what it is in reality. Modern women like to talk about how they don't want to have children and marriage slows them down and prevents them from accomplishing their goals. Here's the thing, regardless of what you guys like to admit it or not, most women, not every single one, not 100%, but the vast majority of women want to be married and have children. You know why? Because that's what they're put on this planet for. It doesn't mean every single woman wants to be married, but the majority of them do, even the women who hop online and lie and say that they don't. And I guess another beef that they have is that they're living in St. Louis, but Ashanti wants to move back to New York to get closer to her family. And Nelly says, no, we're not doing it.
Nelly is worth $75 million in St. Louis. Ashanti is worth $5 million. From a financial aspect, it don't even make sense to uproot the family from St. Louis and go to New York. And then this is the thing with the whole Nelly saying that he don't want to deal with the baby in the morning. Yo, Nelly is 50 fucking years old. He's 50. I understand that every new mom wants to have this like beautiful shared experience with their newborn and with their husband or baby daddy, where they join in on the duties with the baby. But the thing is, like, he's worth 75 mil. How many times have you heard a woman be like, my man need to have this type of money. My man need to be doing this. My man need to be doing that. Bro, you can't have you can't have a 100% type dude. You know why? Because he doesn't exist. Well, Ashanti not even an alpha female. First of all, she's not even an alpha female. So the alpha females out there speaking on her behalf, she got a man. She got a man. Worry about your red flags, man.
And I think that gentleman is spot on. He's 50 years old. Anyone knows as you get older, they tend not to want to have to deal with small children, infants, especially if they're not related to them. They're not their grandchildren or things like that. And Nelly's worth $70 million. He ain't the average dude, because so many women are online saying, well, I'll make my husband do this. And I tell my husband, he better do this. Your husband ain't got $70 million in the bank. And my last point that I'll make is this. Do I think Nelly's wrong for not wanting to get up and not want to change his diapers? No, man. Every man is different. And whatever works for your family works for your family. I'm divorced, but I was married, and I do remember having an arm baby. I don't particularly remember getting up at night to like check on my son. So that's obviously something my ex-wife did. But I changed diapers, made bottles, gave baths. I did all that kind of stuff, not because my wife told me to. I did that just because that's legitimately what I wanted to do and how I wanted to raise my son. But I can't say that his way is wrong either. So whatever works for y'all. And Ashanti, don't let these miserable single women get you to end your marriage over this nonsense. Do better, squad. Fall out.